of ground, and one of the things that I should say about myself, first of all, my name is Lorenzo Thione. I am actually one of the co-founders of StartOut, and I am an entrepreneur multiple times over, several times at the same time. At the moment, running 3 different businesses, which is things that people like us, crazy people like us, do. The interesting thing is that a lot of the reasons why the group that started this organization sort of brought us together, and we wanted to really focus on this, a lot of it kind of came from our own personal experiences. And while certainly I started my first business in Silicon Valley, and it's not a negative climate, a negative place for gay people in general. It's certainly one of the most accepting and liberal places. There still is, and it was evident that there was a lot of sort of insecurity and self-segregation when it came to LGBT entrepreneurs and the way they lived their professional lives and their personal lives separately. While certainly a reasonable comment may have been to ask why it matters, why does it matter? The truth is that there is a tremendous amount collectively that can be gained from learning from one another's experiences and bringing us together, and as Waverly was saying, just helping each other, being better entrepreneurs, and create ultimately better circumstances for everybody. So, after I started my first business and I got sort of the entrepreneurial bug, so to speak, I had the fortune of coming together with a group of like-minded people and individuals, and we sat around and realized that our community really needed something like that, where people could come together and find out that being gay could actually be an asset to each other. I had 2, and this was my personal experience, I had 2 friends who were starting companies right around the same time I was. And I had, I don't know, maybe because I didn't think it was a problem, decided or not decided that it wasn't going to be an issue. So I certainly hadn't made it either a secret or otherwise worried about my sexual orientation in the context of my company. But both of them did, separate companies, different people. Both of them sort of felt like they needed to be in the closet with their investors, with their boards, with their executives. And you could see it from a mile away how much that created an additional level of burden for them. And when I asked them why do you care? I didn't know enough about their companies to know whether or not their fears were founded, but I seriously thought they were not. But both of them answered the same thing, and they said, we know what we have to lose, and we don't know what we've got to gain from being open and being transparent, being honest, being more visibly part of their own community, which helps inspire others and lead by example. And that's actually what certainly motivated me for StartOut. It's let's create something that becomes that something to gain, that asset that can come from being with each other and help each other and learn from each other's experiences and mistakes very often, and become better entrepreneurs. Ultimately, the entire community gains a lot from it.
Hi, my name is Joel Bosch, and I'm actually relatively new to Chicago, so this is actually very exciting for me because I've been working with the committee here to try and get this launched, and this is a great opportunity for me also. I don't think of myself as a networker, and it's interesting because on the way down, I was kind of thinking about that and realizing that everything in my life has kind of happened through networks. I got into the current startup that I'm in right now, ECD, because 2 people had an idea. They were talking to somebody. They said, if you want to do CDs, bank CDs, you need to talk to Joel Bosch. And so, that referral happened. I started advising them. Then I started consulting for them. And then I actually moved to Chicago for this job. So, that was one network thing. I mean, outside of undergraduate and graduate school and getting a job there, every transition in my life has really happened through networking. I guess the only thing is I did start a company once in San Francisco that I just did on my own. It was very gay. I sold antique furniture and modern. But I got to travel the world buying stuff, and I've been to about 47 countries, so it served its purpose. It actually turned a little profit, but I got to write off a lot of travel, and that was really the main goal. So, the other thing I was thinking about is I'm currently starting another company right now, and it's called Go Raise, and the whole idea is to help people get fit and raise money for charity at the same time. I'm very involved in the not-for-profit community. I was in California, where I came from, and I am here in Chicago, and so it's very near and dear to my heart. That opportunity came to me through networking. And so, I started to realize how important networking is, even though I myself don't think of myself as a networker. As far as why I'm in the not-for-profit world, basically it's because I like to build. I'm a builder. In corporate America, after graduate school, I did the consulting thing, financial strategy. But after that, from 2000 on, I was in internet banking, and I really kind of had this entrepreneurial thing within companies that were non-traditional finance companies, where I went in and I built online banking for them. So I tended to run a business. I was the general manager type, product marketing, development, IT, customer service operations, all kind of reported into me as a business. So it seemed to lend itself well to earlier stage startups where you need to have that experience across many different functional areas, and you need to understand kind of how things relate together. If you do something in marketing or product development that doesn't work for operations and they all report to you, at some point you're going to figure it out. So, I've been very excited here in, my role at ECD. I'm enjoying learning more about the Chicago community. I look out and I see this group, and it's very interesting to me because I've been going to more and more networking things, in the startup community, and this is a very different audience. I just look out at the audience, and the faces I see are very different than what I would normally see if I'm at a meeting at 1871. Or some tech in motion function or something like that. So I think that's great because it's really nice to know that there's a group of people that you can go to, that you can talk to, that you can talk about your business, you can talk about your personal life relative to business, find out about opportunities that you feel comfortable with. And I think that's a lot about what startup will be about here in Chicago, is getting people from many different backgrounds, but that have something in common, and can share that commonality, but also learn from the different diverse backgrounds that we bring to the table. So I'm very excited. Thank you for coming. And with that, I'll pass it on.
Thanks. Just reference to some of the statistics, I'm wondering if it might suggest that LGBT people are just better at hiding their money from the IRS.
There's little evidence of that. Little evidence of that.
I have this desire to launch into all these details and facts. I'm going to just keep it at an introduction for me for now. So I'm Vivienne Ming. I started life as an academic, theoretical neuroscientist, most recently at UC Berkeley's Redwood Center for Theoretical Neuroscience. Prior to that, I was at Stanford. And that's where I told the PI of the institute where I was a junior fellow that I was going to go through transition. And he said, wonderful. And then about a year later, I'd say, I'm taking a month off for you know what? And he said, that's great, don't come back. You've lost your edge. You didn't realize I was paying for your transition and your baby. And you're done. And that turned out to be an opportunity. I had previously, before I went back to school, back to grad school, I had founded a company. And my wife and I had an idea to take some of our technology and turn it into a new startup, an educational technology startup. And we kind of leapt at it. It was like, I had this person that, spat this bile in my face, and I thought, what an opportunity to, not to show him it was wrong. I never want to give him the satisfaction of saying he instigated it, but to show myself that he was wrong. And so, we did it. And it's interesting because having done that, and then another company, and then another company, and then another company, and now having not as many as you, but having one that I founded and one for which I'm the chief scientist, is I've raised money. It's both a man and a woman. I've gotten up and spoken in front of big audiences. It's both a man and a woman. And I've seen the striking difference in how people react. And the credit that you're given. You know, my credentials as a scientist are pretty solid. Nobody calls me on it because they don't understand it anyway. The one thing VC's never going to do is tip their hand about whether they got it.
They're always the smartest guy in the room, but not with you, huh?
But as a businesswoman, boy, no problem calling into question. Doesn't matter what my track record is. So it's been really interesting seeing that difference. You know, we have this additional element there, the historical research. Okay, I'm going to do one little piece of research. When you look at, as someone who's gone through transition, you look at it, traditional, you know, women make whatever, the current number is 76% or 76 cents to $1 that a man makes.
I think we're actually over 80 now, but
That is wonderful. So if you're a trans man, you make even better. You're pretty close to that dollar mark. If you're a trans woman, you're down. You end up at the bottom of the barrel. And you know, there aren't many people that are in a position where they can be out in a world which views who they are still as, oh, there's something deeply, deeply wrong with you. That's wonderful. Stay away from my money. But to actually be able to kind of be that person and just say, listen, the world's better because of who I am. I'm better. My companies are better. I've affected the world in this incredibly positive way. And occasionally I'm going to go out and brag about it because other people need to understand that. So I think my perspective, my experiences are probably different than a lot of, say, gay entrepreneurs, where you know there's been a transformation, certainly working in San Francisco and New York. But I think we all share a kind of experience where there's this little bit of dissonance between many of the people we're doing business with and our personal identity. And while that's changing, there's still a kind of overcoming that's going on. And quite frankly, it's a dissonance that I suspect many underrepresented groups, you know, ethnic groups, racial groups, sexual orientation, whatever, you all get it. It's people want to do business with people that are like them because they understand them better. But creating this sort of social environment where we can all get together and really foster some stuff I'll talk about later, the kind of innovation economies, the work by Richard Florida and others. It creates an opportunity to actually do more than even say your local regional community, like really create our own local innovation centers when you know your home city may not in fact be all that creative.